Hello everyone, welcome to Sharmit. In this session, we are going to cover another very important topic related to template driven form in Angular, where we will be mainly focusing on how to validate the form with ngModelGroup. Yes, in projects there might be a requirement where you are supposed to write a form logic where we have to put some validation on the input fields. And also in this example we will verify if any of the input field is failed with the validation, then how it is impacting the overall ngModelGroup. Okay, but before we proceed further with this all things, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released sessions first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow it sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic, because for time being we are just mainly focusing on how to use ngModelGroup with validation. And for the sequential content, you can refer the Sharmit digital coursebook, which is freely available in the description box. There you will find more than 3000 plus free resources available in both Hindi as well as English language. So as per your convenience, you can go through it and you can try to consume the content. As I mentioned, like there are 3000 plus resources in both languages, Hindi as well as English. Okay, alright, so I think now we are good to start with the session. And here you can see currently I'm in the app.component.html file where I have noted down the required two headings. The first is showing Angular course by Sharmit, and the second one is template driven form in Angular for ngModelGroup with validation. Now after this heading we will add one horizontal row, two horizontal row actually, just to separate out these headings with the actual form. Okay, so whatever the form we want to create, we'll keep it inside a horizontal rows. Okay, alright, and now you can see here we have app.component.ts file. If we are going to create a form, so it should we will use here ngForm, right? So to use that ngForm we will write here forms module. Okay, so forms module is added, because if it is not there it will throw error for the ngForm. But now we have already imported it and this is mandatory and prerequisite. Okay, alright, so now let's go and create the form. So here I will create a form. So basically what we are going to create in this example, we will create one simple form for the login detail like email and password. In email and password we will add some validation, simple validation that it should not be blank. Okay, and then we will check in the ngModelGroup, like if both things are true, then only ngModelGroup will return true, right? That means for a group, like if one field validation is failed, entire group will be considered as a field. If both are passed, then only the entire model group will be considered as passed. Okay, so these things we can verify with this example. How? Let me show you. So form is added. Now let's assign something here like my form hashtag hash my form. Okay, then here I will write ngForm, and this is not showing any error because we have already imported the forms module. Now next what we are going to do, we will add one div here, and in this div we will write ngModelGroup. Okay, and here we will write login. So what it will do, it will consider this entire group as a login group. Okay, also here I am using one template reference variable for login group. Why we will use this? Just to verify the states, whether it is valid, invalid or something like that. Okay, so let's assign ngModelGroup here. Now after this what we'll do, we will create one label, because we are going to create multiple fields, so assign some name to that fields also. Okay, so first is, let's say, email. Okay, now we will add input field, and in this input field we will write name as email, then ngModel. So these are two important things. Okay, always make sure that these two things should be there in ngModelGroup. And after that we will write here new thing that is required, because we want to apply the validation. Okay, So what it will basically look for, it will check if this input field is blank, in that case it will be considered as validation failed. If it does not, it will consider it as a validation pass. Okay, fine. Now let's add the next label, and this label is for the password. Okay, now after this label, let's add the input field, and here we will write name as password, then ngModel, and then we will write here required. Okay, we will add here required. So we have added two fields with two labels. Now we are good to go and write the further logic which will help us to verify whether the entire group is true or a false, or whether the validation is fulfilled or verified for both fields or not. So to verify that, what we will do, after a div we will add one paragraph, and here we will check one if condition. So prior to that, let's go to app.component.ts file, after forms module add ngIf, because this is required. Okay, now let's go back to the paragraph. Here we will write star ngIf. Okay, then we will write here login group dot invalid. Okay, and inside this we will write here a login group invalid. Okay, so this thing is ready. So this paragraph will be invoked only if the login group is invalid. Now what is login group? We have assigned this ngModelGroup to this entire group, right? That means if the entire group is invalid, then only it will show the message login group invalid. Otherwise it won't invoked. Okay, now after this, what we will do, we will create one button here. This button will help us to submit the form. So let's add the button. Here I will write click. Okay, and inside this we will write submit form, and here I will write my form. Perfect. Right now it is throwing error because we haven't declared this, right? So let's go to app.component.ts file. Here we will add this method which is submit form, opening closing parenthesis, curly braces, and inside this we will write let me add this thing here like form, and then we will write ng form. Okay, and then we will write here form console dot log, then we will write here form dot we can check two things. First is form dot valid. Okay, and then we will add console dot log form dot value. Okay, so basically it will show the values as well as the status of validation, like whether it is valid. If it is valid, it will return true. If it is not, it will return false. Okay, so this example is ready. Now basically how it will work, like it will check if email field is blank, it will consider it as a false. So if email is blank, password is filled, so entire group is considered as false because one thing is failed, right? So it will throw the message login group invalid. In case if email is not blank but password is blank, in that case also it will be considered as a failure for the entire group, so it will again throw this message. But if both fields are true, that means if both validation are passed, then in that case it will simply skip this and move it, and it will work as expected. Okay, so let's verify that. So ng server -open, enter. Just wait for a few seconds and then it will show you the output. So here we can see we have Angular course by Sharmit, template driven form in Angular, ngModelGroup with validation. These are the headings. Then we have one horizontal row, email field label, input field, password field label, password field, and it is also showing this message because we have just added it, right? So it shows login group invalid, one button and one horizontal row. Let's verify the things. Click on inspect, go to console. Now the moment when I write something here at gmail.com, still it is showing this message. Why? Because still the entire group is considered as failed. That is the you can say advantage of using ngModelGroup, that it is looking for the entire group, not only for that email field. Okay, and the moment when I write here something 1 2 3, you can see the message is removed. Why? Because now both fields are done with the validation. Both fields have cleared the validation rules. If there are other validation also, it will check for that as well. Okay, but right now we are just checking for the required. But let's say if min length or something like there is that, then also it will work in the same way. And it is also for the email, like if you blank it, still it will show. Okay, because it is still checking for the entire group, not for the individual field. And when both things are provided, submitted, you can see firstly it is showing true. That means it is valid. If you expand, you will find login object is there with email and password. Okay, the moment when you pass something, let's say like this, you can see it is returning false. Email is provided but password is not. Okay, likewise if I remove email and put the password only, submitted, still it is showing false, because now the email is blank and password is provided. So what we learned from this session, that it is checking for the entire group, not for the individual field. Clear? So I hope this session is clear to all of you. In the next session we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.